All right, we're doing lesson 40, book 3, beginning rock guitar. This one I call Mountain Streams. Very scenic kind of piece, okay? But I'm going to play through it. If you've been working on it, just play along with me, okay? Ready, go. Okay? Kind of has a finger picking sound, and you could finger pick this, but I was using the flat pick. So it's a good exercise for your flat picking. Um, what we're doing here is applying what we learned in the last lesson, which was how to harmonize a major scale in thirds. Remember, we had the tetrachords and we harmonized it major, minor, minor, major, minor, minor, major. So the pattern, each tetrachord is major, minor, minor, major, and then the next tetrachord major, minor, minor, major. Here we're going up the fourth and third strings, and it's really the key of E. It's not really E major, it's E mixolydian, and I don't want to get into why it's not major, but you have that same pattern though of thirds: major, minor, minor, major, and but this major starts the next tetrachord, and it's really, I mean, I just mentioned that it's mixolydian because that's a mode compared, but actually a major scale is also a mode. You have different modes in music, and it's nothing to worry about at this stage, but I just want to mention it because I don't want to call it E major and then have somebody point out, oh, wait a minute, that's not E major, it's E mixolydian. Yeah. So now, getting into playing the thing, look at the rhythm. The rhythm is like one, two, and three, and four. One, two, and three, and four. And the effect is that you're hitting a bass note and letting it ring, and then hitting these. And then the last note is a quarter note, so it's the long note. You have long, short, 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 long. One, two, and three, and four. It's really important because if you just look at the tablature without looking at the rhythm, you might think it's like this: one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and. But it's not. It's like a quarter note, two eighths, and then two eighths and a quarter. So a quarter, two eighths, and a quarter. So it's that's the way the rhythm flows through most of this until you get to that hard part on the fourth line where it's like it's a B chord and it's a lot of barring. You might have trouble getting the chords to ring, and it's offbeat. You've got some tied rhythms there. It's like one, two, and three, and four. One, two, and three, and four. One, two, three, four, and one, and two, and three, and four, and. So especially the third and fourth measures of that fourth line are syncopated, very offbeat. But we've had ties, you understand ties. And so it's a fun piece to play. And um, now, another thing to talk about at the end of each phrase in the beginning, and remember the first line is repeated. I put a repeat sign there. So you repeat the first line. Now look here, I'm going, and I'm hitting the last 4-2, and then I'm not striking, I'm just sliding the left hand a whole step. And you got to try not to choke the third string. If you lean, or if you if you kind of lay the finger a little bit flat, you'll get, and you might only hear one note, because in sliding you might have flattened the third finger and it choked the third string. So you got to be careful to try to get both strings ringing. It takes a little effort, and the positioning, the keeping the third finger very bent is key in doing that. And then later on you have, like at the end of the second line, you repeat that first line. I just want to mention that again, but at the end of the second line you go, and you're sliding the other direction, which I think is a little bit more difficult. It's harder to get them to ring through the slide. So you have those slides, and that's kind of a cool thing about this riff. And then at the end, you have, like, if you look at the last two lines, or it's a line and a half, you've got the same thing we started out with. Same exact thing. But then you stay here, and this is an E major chord. And it's what we call a C shape. Like if you took a C chord and fingered it up the neck, you'd have to refinger, instead of fingering it 3-2-1, you'd finger it 4-3-2, and then use one, like that's a C chord, that's a C sharp chord, a D chord, a D sharp chord, and an E chord. So this is an E chord. But it's the same shape as a common C chord, but and it's getting into caged, which is moving major chord shapes up and down the neck, and so that's the ending. The last chord you just hit all 6 strings, because the two outer open strings are both E's, and this is an E major chord, so it's a nice, really good, rich sounding E chord. So you might want to learn that shape. That's pinky, third finger, first finger, second finger. And then you have to make sure you're not choking the first string. So, and they match, like the first and second strings are both E's. So you have E, E, G sharp, B, E, E on that ending. Okay? So I'll play it one more time. Just maybe I'll go a little faster. All right. So. faster but slightly sloppier. Okay, but that's mountain streams, kind of maybe a new agey. Think of Oregon woods up in the Oregon or Appalachian Mountains or the Rocky Mountains of, think of a lot of woods and trees and mountains, mountain streams. Okay? So comment if you like this one. I think it's a cool little riff. And see, we're getting more elaborate in book 3 and doing more challenging things. And please like the video if you like it, and comment and subscribe, and look for John Hedger Guitar Studio on Facebook and Instagram. All right. We'll see you in the next one.